Good afternoon. My name is Keisha Rogers. I'm one of the certification officers with the City of Chicago Department of Procurement Services. If you've called our general number, I'm one of the officers that you might have possibly spoken with. There's about maybe 7 or 8 of us that are doing all of the applications and assisting you guys when you have questions or concerns, or also doing these workshops. So pretty much today, we're going to go through the PowerPoint presentation. I'll just kind of be reading, throwing in a little extra. If you have any questions, like you said, save them to the end, jot them down maybe on your, sheet so that you don't forget, and then she'll bring you the, the microphone if you have any questions. So you're at the How to Be Certified workshop. Pretty much, let's start off with the department overview. So who we are. The Department of Procurement Services is the contracting authority for the procurement of goods and services for the City of Chicago. We work together as a team and with our customers, let's see if I change that, there we go, to guarantee an open, fair, and timely process by establishing, communicating, and enforcing superior business practices. So what we do. DPS, which is the Department of Procurement Services, we call ourselves DPS, is committed to providing information, resources, and tools to assist you in your efforts to compete for City of Chicago contracting opportunities. So we accept and review new applications for certification, annual no-change affidavits, recertification applications every 5 years. We'll get a little bit more into that, so you'll know different programs require recertification applications, and some of them do not. So we'll get into that a little bit more. So what we do, contract compliance with negotiated contractual M, W, and DBE participation goals, set standards for contract participation for MWBEs as well as DBE and ACDBEs, and assist vendors through our websites. So our websites are, I'm sure most of you are probably familiar with our 2 websites, but the cityofchicago.org procurement and chicago.mwdbe.com. Those are the 2 websites that you will use quite often. So what are our programs that we offer? So we have the MBE, so you'll hear the initials a lot of times. Even when you call in to us, you'll get to start using the initials. So we have the MBE, which is the Minority-Owned Business Enterprise Certification. We have the WBE, which is the Women-Owned Business Enterprise. BEPD, the businesses owned by people with disabilities. The DBE, which is the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise. And the ACDBE, which is the Airport Concessions Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Certification. So what are the benefits of certification? It provides visibility. So once certified, your firm is listed in a directory which is accessible to the general public. So that directory is on our website. And once you're certified, your firm is listed in that directory. There are minority, women, and disadvantaged business participation goals on City of Chicago projects and sister agencies. There are businesses in the private sector as well who also seek out firms that are certified. So it helps you not only with the City of Chicago and our sister agencies, but also with private firms. The benefits of certification continue. The City of Chicago has a target market program, which provides exclusive bidding to certified minority and women-owned business enterprises. This allows certified businesses to take 100% of the contract because there are no subtractor goals associated with the project. So that's the target market program. Do you qualify? So the qualifying groups are African American, Hispanic, Asian, Native American, women, persons with disabilities. Other individuals, if you feel like you're disadvantaged, then you would have to prove your social and economic disadvantage to be a part of it if you're not listed as one of those qualifying groups. You have to be a local business. So your principal place of business and the majority of your full-time workforce needs to be located in Cook, DuPage, Kane, Lake, McHenry, or Will counties. So that's very important. You definitely have to be a local program. As far as the DBE and ACDBE, you have to be anywhere in Illinois. So we're getting to that DBE and ACDBE programs, those are the federal programs. So that's why you could be anywhere in Illinois. Your business has to be 51% owned, controlled, and managed by a minority woman, persons with a disability, or a socially and economically disadvantaged individual. This is one of the things when you're filling out your application that we really look into. So it has to be owned, controlled, and managed 51% by one of the disadvantaged groups. So do you qualify? Continue. The MBE, WBE must not be an established business. So gross receipts cannot exceed 37.74 million averaged over 3 years for non-construction. I believe this is actually like 38.11 right now, so that has changed. Construction firms subject to SBI size standards averaged over 5 years. For DBE, they cannot exceed 23.98 million, or the SBA size standards averaged over 3 years. So the SBA size standards, if you're not familiar with that, that's the Small Business Administration size standards. The ACDBE not to exceed 56.42 million for most firms, and there are some exceptions for the ACDBE programs. So it's a difference depending on which program you're in, how much gross receipts you are not allowed to exceed. They also, depending on the program that you're in, there are personal net worth standards. So for MBE and WBE, this standard, the threshold, only applies to construction companies, and is currently at 2.2 million. This is evaluated annually by the city of Chicago. I think that has changed too. The DBE, ACDBE, the threshold applies to all people seeking certification. So if you're trying to get an M or a W, the personal net worth only applies if you are a company that's seeking construction codes. For DBE and ACDBE, you have to do a personal net worth statement no matter what you are trying to, what codes you're trying to get certified under. So again, for DBE and ACDBE, it's 1.3 million, and this is adjusted periodically by the U.S. Department of Transportation. So the calculation of personal net worth does exceed the value of your primary residence and interest in the certified firm. So the application process, everything is online. We do not take any paper. So everything you do should be uploaded onto the website in your account. So again, that website is chicago.mwdbe.com. So that's where you will start. That's where you will create your username, log in, and all of that. Again, paper applications are no longer accepted. You will have to submit your $250 fee, which is a money order or a cashier's check. There's no fee for the federal programs and also for the BEPD. So no fee for DBE or DBE and ACDBE, as well as the BEPD. So for your money orders or cashier's check, you will have to make that payable to the city of Chicago. You could deliver or send it via mail with some form of tracking. I actually think we're in the process now of being able to accept credit card payments, which that'll be information I'm sure will be dispersed about that soon. That will go through the Department of Finance. You have to submit all of your supporting documentation, again, online. Everything has to be online. There's no paper. So the different type of things that we would need from you, and when you go online and you start looking at your application, if you haven't started or if you have started, it kind of walks you through it. So some of the information would definitely be your contact information. You want to make sure that whatever contact information that you're providing, if your certification officer needs to contact you, that it is current, that you are responding to that. If it's your email, you should be checking it. So contact information, the type of certification you are seeking. Again, there's all of those acronyms, MBE, WBE, DBE, you have to let us know what type of certification that you are seeking. If you are doing the BEPD, which is for the people with disabilities, you do have to get a Schedule G form. You will be providing ownership information, your employee information, facility information, financial information, licenses. As far as your experience, you need to be providing us with different resumes, any type of professional associations, listing of equipment, leases, contract information, any pending, past year. We usually ask for like more current contracts, invoices, and purchase orders. So pretty much all of this information that you're providing us is so that, again, it goes back so that we can understand and make sure that you are in control, that you understand the aspects of your business, and that you are the person that is completely managing it. So type of businesses that qualify. Sole proprietors, which are typically owned by one person, has no legal existence apart from the person or him or herself. If you are sole proprietor, then one of the things that you will be providing to us would be an assumed name certificate if you are operating in a name other than the owner. General partnerships qualify 2 or more people who go into business together without any formality. So for that, you will provide us with a partnership agreement. Limited partnership, the limited partners are more like stakeholders in a corporation. They are not liable for the debts beyond their own contribution. And if you fall under that, then you will be providing us with the assumed name certificate or certificate of limited partnership. Also, corporations qualify. So a corporation is treated as an entity completely separate from its shareholders. It allows others to invest in the business without being liable for the debts of this business. You have to be in good standing with the Secretary of State. So that's one of the first things we look at. If you are not in good standing, we will let you know that so that you can do what you need to do to get in good standing with the Secretary of State. If you are a corporation, you should be providing us with your articles of incorporation, any bylaws, if there's any amendments, all the way from the beginning if possible so that we can kind of see the flow of what's happening with the business. Copies of all stock certificates issued, meeting minutes, and I think I mentioned the articles of incorporation. So for the limited liability company, partnerships that have a managing member or partner, then you will be providing us also with the operating agreement. So suppliers. A supplier must be a regular dealer, which is a firm that owns, operates, or maintains a store, warehouse, or other establishment in which material, supplies, articles, or equipment are bought, kept in stock, and regularly sold or leased to the public in the usual course of business. So we have a supplier, distributor, broker policy that can be found online. So if you're trying to get a code under certification that is a supplier, you probably want to make sure you look at that supplier, distributor, broker policy to make sure that you are supplying us with all of those additional documents that we need if you're falling under that category. For distributors, those are firms operating as a distributor are identified as having a direct relationship with the manufacturer to distribute its goods and products within a specified territory or region. The goods and or products are not available or sold to the general public. So usually if you're a distributor, you will have a distributor agreement. So that's something you should be providing if you have a distributor agreement. Or if you don't provide it, your certification officer will probably definitely ask you for it. Brokers. So brokers are firms acting as a broker are not eligible for certification as an MBE or WBE. So if you are a broker, you do not qualify to be certified as an M or W. A person or entity that fills orders by purchasing or receiving supplies from a third-party supplier rather than out of its own existing inventory and provides no substantial service other than acting as a conduit between his or her supplier and his or her customer is considered a broker. Again, you cannot be certified for M or W if you are a broker. So what happens after your applications are submitted? So the process can take approximately 60 to 90 days from the day we receive all the documents. So not from the day that you submit your application. It takes time for your certification officer to take a look at it, and then usually if you don't have everything, we'll send you out a request for information. Once we have everything that we need, then it can take 60 to 90 days, 120 days for that application to be completed. You have to make sure that you are providing us as much information as possible because the certification officers, such as myself, we're going to check to make sure we have everything that is needed. If not, again, we send you out a request for information. All the documents are thoroughly audited. If there's no signature, we will send you a request for information saying that, hey, this document needs to be signed. So if you can check all of that stuff yourself before you send it over to us, that could really speed up your process. If you're responsive to us, that could really speed up your process. You may receive a site visit. So if you're a new application, even a recertification, then you might see one of us coming out to the site so that we can actually speak with you. If we have additional questions so that we can see, especially if you have any type of inventory, your trucks or yard or something, we want to see that. So you might also receive a site visit. If approved, your certification is valid for 5 years. Now that's only for the MBE, WBE, and the BEPD, which are the local programs. So those are valid for 5 years. Now there is, if you've seen it online, there is something that is called an expedited process. Okay, it's really not expedited. It's really not. Okay, what it is kind of a smaller version because you're already certified with the Chicago Minority Supplier Development Council or the WBDC, which is the Women Business Development Council. So you are pretty much already certified with those two agencies or one or the other, and you're providing us with a different application. You're providing us with the certification that you have from them. However, the certification officers will still do their due diligence to make sure that we feel that you are, able to be certified with us. So it says expedited, but it's still, going to go under the same process as anything else. You're just filling out a different application. So maintaining your certification. All vendors must submit an annual no change affidavit. So you must notify the Certification and Compliance Division regarding organizational changes, business name changes, and ownership changes within 10 business days of the change. So once you get into your application and start looking at all the different things you're able to do, this is called a material change. So if you have a material change, you should be notifying us within 10 days of that change, okay? So all MBE, WBE, BEPD vendors must recertify, again, every 5 years. Okay, that's important. Sometimes you might complete your certification, and then years down the road or something, or a couple of months, you might realize that you want to get an expansion of your services on your certification. So you have to submit your request on company letterhead, include all categories from the North American Industry Classification Systems Codes. We call it Nexus. So if you have already kind of started the process, then you're probably already familiar with those codes, because those are the codes you're providing to us to let us know what are the scope of your services, the services that you're providing that you want to get certified in. So when you do an expansion of services, you have to almost retreat back to what you did when you did a new application, and you need to show us that you can do this. So if you are asking for trucking, then you need to provide us with CDLs and, all type of maybe an updated resume to show that, that you own these trucks, licenses, registration for the vehicles, everything, if you are, requesting an expansion of services. Insurance, you'll see on the PowerPoint, copies of future or present contracts require licenses. Again, it's really about us being able to tell that you can do what you are requesting to be certified in. So there are sister agencies that you can also utilize your city certifications with. So on here, which you guys all have, they have all of the different sister agencies listed along with their contact phone numbers. So let's avoid the top 10 reasons that applications are denied. So this is an important part right here. Unsubstantiated or questionable ownership or control. You heard me kind of highlight that in the beginning. You have to show that you are the owner of your company and that you are in control of it. So if that's unsubstantiated, or we questioning it and you're not really getting back to us, that could be a reason why you are denied. Unclear description of critical functions and who is responsible. So it's an area in the application that asks who performs certain functions. So you'll kind of see that in your application. So we need to know who's performing what. So you want to make sure that you are clear in that and that you're completing that out. It's kind of a long section, but it's a part of the application. If the company cannot substantiate where startup funds and expansion capital came from. So if you used $100 to get your company started, we need to see where that $100 came from. If it came out of your personal account, then you need to have a copy possibly of the canceled check, or a copy of your bank statement showing that it came out of your personal checking account and that it's going into your business, accounts. So you want to be able to show where your startup funds came from. Outside secondary employment takes the majority of the MWB or D's enterprises' time each day. If you have another job, we'll see it, because we ask for personal tax returns. So, this one is kind of on a case-by-case basis, because it's not like you can't have secondary employment, and it also depends on the field. But you can't be working 12-hour shifts a day, you know what I mean? And then try to get certified under your company. If it's too different, like if your regular job is taking up too much of your time, then that might be something that we'll question. Again, if the company is not located in one of the 6 county regions, that's kind of a no-brainer. You have to be within the 6 county regions. Your point of contact did not respond to requests for information in a timely manner. This touches kind of what I said before. When you put in your application, make sure you are checking your emails. Check your spam. That's the way we're going to be communicating with you a lot. So you want to make sure, because you don't want to wait a month down the line and then you're saying, hey, what's taking so long? I sent you an RFI a month ago and you haven't responded. So you want to make sure you're checking that. Make sure your phone numbers are the ones that you will be answering. Inconsistencies with the applicant, firm name among various documents. Pretty much everything needs to be consistent. Problems with contracts, so missing, incomplete, not signed, and executed by qualifying owners or have no corresponding proof of payments. Required documents are not attached or no explanation is given as to why the documents are not available. So let's just say you're a startup company and you don't have 3 years of tax returns. In that section where we're asking for the tax returns, you should be uploading in that section the reason why you don't have them. So if you don't have something, it's not the end of the world, but you should be proactive and letting us know why you don't have them. So when your certification officer is going through and then we don't see the tax returns, but you have a document uploaded and says, I just started my business in 2016, it makes sense why you don't have it, but you have to let us know why you don't have certain documents. 3 or 5 years of tax returns were not submitted and signed. So I understand that now everything's electronic. Sign them before you send them and then upload them because we will send you an RFI requesting for the signed tax returns. So where to go for help? So again, our office is in room 806. That's where all the certifications officers are. The number that you can call for us is the 312-744-4900 and option 1. So when you hit that option, that's when you will get myself or one of the other certification officers, and we can definitely help you. We also do have a consultant that's located at the Business Affairs office, which is in the same floor as us, but in room 800. Her name is Stephanie Edmond. Her phone number is 312-744-1266. So if you really need help as far as like uploading your documents or something like that, you know, you can contact Stephanie, make an appointment with her. But when you get ready to reach out to Stephanie, you should kind of be at the point of getting ready to upload documents, having specific questions, etc. And your area assist agency is another place where you could go for help. All right. Are there any questions?
Yes. I'll ask you guys, just as a reminder, to please make sure that you have the mic so that whoever's watching you can hear your question.
Hi, regarding the tax returns. Okay, 3 years. So if you haven't been in business, do they want the personal tax returns instead?
You're going to provide both, your personal and your business. So if you haven't been in business 3 years, again, that comes into play where I said you'll upload what you have. So let's just say you just have 1 year, and then you'll upload a statement or something letting us know, you know, that the reason why you don't have all 3 years. So it's 3 years if you're non-construction, 5 years if you're construction.
Hi, my question is there a tracking system available to let us know where we are in the process, whether it's in review currently or if what documents we're missing?
Well, there's no tracking system, but usually once your certification officer gets it and they reach out to them, you'll have their number, or you can call this number to check on the status of it. But if there's any missing documents, your certification officer is going to let you know that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Good afternoon. Can we print out the application from the portal? Or
no, but there is a checklist. There's a checklist that you can go in to kind of see the different information that you would need to possibly upload. But let's just say if you're going through it and you need to stop for some reason,
right,
then you can stop and save it because it's going to let you know how far along you are in the process.
Great. One other question. In terms of reciprocity with the other sister agencies, I also noted that Cook County is on the list. Is the state of Illinois also?
No, just reciprocal with the Cook County.
Okay. Now,
so if you have our certification, you don't need it with the county and vice versa. So if you want to do the state, you would have to do that separately.
Okay. So you don't, for each agency, you wouldn't have to fill out a different form. It'll just provide the number?
No. If you want to, like say if you want to do the state, then you would have to go through their process.
I'm actually talking about the sister agencies. If I want to go to CTA and apply.
So for a contract and they're asking for MBE, if their contract is asking for, contract goals or a certain amount of MBEs or WEBEs, then they'll take the city.
That's when they'll check it. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Hi. I have a couple of questions. One, as it relates to the Chicago Minority Development Council, what is there an advantage coming through the city or going through them, or does it matter either way? I mean, where are you approved through them as opposed to with the city? I guess it's with reciprocity is with the county and well, with the county. Is there an advantage coming through here?
Well,
opposed
that,
to-
whichever way you go, that's really up to you.
Right.
Okay, so like I said, if you go through one of them, and you have to go through their application process, you have to go through, whatever their fee may be, and then you can do the outside certification application, which is a shorter application, but again, if there's things that they didn't ask for and your certification officer feels like they need, we're going to ask for it. So that's really up to you to decide if it's beneficial to you, if you want to do both or one, or however, that you want to do it. But you're still going to have to pay, the fee for us. You'll still have to pay the fee for them. So that's kind of a business decision that you would have to make.
So if you're certified here, you're not automatically certified with the minority business development? No. Okay. And another question is, say at a later date you want to, combine with a WBE or DBE or something like that. Is that a separate application process?
Well, it depends. If right now, let's say if you're doing the minority and the percentage of the woman ownership is 51%, why not just do them all at once? Now, if you come back and you start off with a minority and then now you say, hey, I want the W, that's going to be a whole nother application process, because now, why didn't you ask for that in the beginning? We need to make sure that the woman is actually the one that is the minority control of that business. So if and the DBE is a totally different application. So if you can do them all at once if you want, but the M and the W you can do together, and then the DBE and ACDBE you can do separately.
Okay. Thank you.
Your answer just triggered another question. What's the difference between MBE and DBE?
MBE and the WBE are the local programs.
Gotcha.
So, and then the DBE and ACDBE are the federal programs.
Gotcha. And one last question for me. I'll shut up. While you're in the process of the application, the 60 to 90 day approximately, can you actually apply as a DBE or the status that you're seeking at this point?
So you're saying, can you do an M and a D at the same time?
No. If an RFP comes out and someone, can you go on that paper as a DBE? Or the status that you're seeking, that you're in the process?
While you're in the application process, no.
Okay, just want to make sure.
You don't have to be certified to be a part of any of the contracts.
Gotcha.
But you can't go in as you wouldn't be able to fulfill that MBE or DBE goal until you actually get the certification.
Good clarification. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Any other questions?
Okay, in terms of critical functions, so I started this application, and I'm in the midst. I've put on there like owner consultant, but I mean, I'm a single member owner of the company. So is that like not enough description in terms of my function?
Well, it depends. Like as far as, with anything that you do, if you feel like you can go into more detail and you want to write like a narrative or something to kind of let the certification officer really know, the makeup of your company, you can do that. But then again, that goes back to like your articles of incorporation or what type of paperwork that you might have to demonstrate that you are, the only owner, minutes or whatever. So I understand you might put that in like a description, but there should also be a section where you're able to upload any supporting documentation for that description.
Oh, okay, and like for minutes, what I did was upload a document that says there are no minutes.
And that's fine. If there's no
Okay.
minutes, then yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yep.
Anyone
Any other
else?
questions?
This is the time while you have her here. Nothing else? No? One more? All right, good.
I think I got confused. So yesterday, I was looking at a YouTube video, and then it said, if you wanted to receive, different contract or RFP information, upload your information to iSupplier. So am I getting confused, iSupplier versus DPS's site?
That's different. So it's
Okay.
two separate systems. So what we're talking about with certification is strictly just for the applying for the certification. So the iSupplier is, you want to?
Hello, everybody.
Yeah.
I'm Sonia Larkin, City of Chicago, obviously certification officer.
And you're asking about iSupplier. Any of the other programs that the Department of Procurement Services currently has are separate from the certification. It has nothing to do with the certification. You can apply if there's an application process to be a part of that program or that function, independent of the certification documentation that you're submitting and the application that's going through for, obviously, the end to be certified. So that question is, it's two very separate vehicles, and if you have questions, my best suggestion is to go back to the Department of Procurement Services website, home phone number 312-744-4900, and if it's for contracts or iSupplier, I would press the number 3, and a contract specialist can then direct you to the individual that can assist you with that inquiry.
Now, I'll also mention at the beginning of the class, we were going through what each of the handouts are, and one of the handouts specifically is the e-procurement handout. The City of Chicago Department of Procurement is starting to streamline from paper bids to all electronic bidding. So we definitely encourage you to become familiar with our e-procurement system, which a function of e-procurement is the iSupplier account, which is where we will ask all the vendors to set up an iSupplier account so that you can bid and have access to contracting through the e-procurement portal. So that's where kind of iSupplier kicks in. The workshops for e-procurement are on a monthly basis. We're hoping to roll out complete e-procurement online bidding by the end of this year. So we definitely encourage you to become way more familiar with what e-procurement is, how to bid electronically, how to set up yourself as a vendor, because by next year, we're going to try to go paperless as possible. And we'll have paper submittals happening at the same time while we transition, but the quicker you become more familiar with e-procurement, the better, because we've already had a good handful amount of electronic bids going out right now. Anyone else?
Do you need a actual local Chicago business license if you already have a state license?
It would depend on exactly what you are, I mean,
Okay.
that's like on a case-by-case basis. It depends on what you are requesting
Okay.
to. So what is your business? If you don't mind me asking.
Consulting, IT consulting,
Okay.
Where's the business located?
here in Chicago.
And this is the home base, your home office is here in Chicago?
That is correct.
All right, then you would be required to have a City of Chicago business license.
Okay. If you're part of an affiliate with another company, you don't need it. If you're affiliated with another company that's in another state, you need it then.
So are you a franchise of that company?
No, I'm just asking the question. Just asking the question. I'm a local. I'm an LLC here, so I need a local license then.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you.
Now, and you just kind of brought up something so I could mention, you mentioned affiliates. That's something also that you would have to make sure you provide information for your application, yes.
Thank
you. Any other questions?
Can I ask a licensing question pertaining to my business after this? I didn't necessarily want.
Yep, that's fine.
Did you want the mic?
Go ahead.
You had a license question, go ahead.
She said she was going to. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, so mine is tag teaming on the license issue. I'm home-based IT consultant, LLC myself, and it's home-based. I believe I saw something go to room 800?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So that's the business affairs office, and that's definitely a place for questions with like licensing and stuff. And then, yes, they're upstairs in room 800. That would be a good place to go to find out more specifics about the licenses that will be required for your type of business.
Okay. Yeah. I was getting there.
And they also offer a lot of really good free workshops as well on how to do business plans. They have a lot of resources as well, so we definitely encourage you to check them out because they also have free resources.
Is that process also electronic?
I do not know. Sorry. I'm not sure.
Any other questions or anything? Well, again, you all have that 4900 number. I have cards with me, which will have my direct number on them. But again, that 4900 number, you're able to reach any one of all of those are certification officers back there, by the way. They're all, one of us will definitely answer the phone. So when you call that number, you get a certification officer, or you can, once you find out who your certification officer is, you can always just call and speak with us directly, or email, or what have you. So, and then there's also, you can go and like our Facebook pages. We're on Twitter. Like she said, this is being streamed on YouTube. And then you, like she said, just to reiterate, DPS alerts is a good thing that you definitely want to sign up for, to let you know about different workshops and stuff like that. So we'll be behind if anybody has any questions to help you guys out. If not, thank you for coming.
And you're also free to stay for the next one. We have a 3:15 workshop. That one is doing business with the city of Chicago, and it goes over more and specifically like the rules and regulations on how to do business with us. And that one is taught by one of our DPS attorneys. So you're more than welcome to stay for that too.
All right, thank you.